Listen, please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel.
Give him all my praises, cause he died for you and me.
Bringing awareness to domestic violence. You don't want to miss it, so tune in every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook. Let's talk.
And that's why I keep praising him, cause
Let's talk.
he's so amazing, yes, he's amazing. Give him all my
Listen,
praises,
please
'cause
like,
he died for you.
subscribe, and share our YouTube channel.
And I'm excited. So this is the platform we allow people to come on and tell their journey, tell their testimony, how God delivered them, kept them, set them free, the goodness that God is doing in their life now. Some people, like I said, some people have survived heinous things, and they're now God is using them in a mighty way. Some of them have awesome platforms, books out, everything. Um, that's what they do here. I myself am a domestic violence survivor I am now a domestic violence advocate. And WarriorShe is my brand. So for those of you who this is your first time, we say welcome. We thank you for joining us. My guest tonight, I am overexcited because this is my niece. She's not my biological niece, but she was pretty much raised up in our family, um, particularly with my sister. Um, so she is my niece, and she has a powerful testimony. She is on now. So y'all tag some friends. Come on. Let's I'm gonna bring her in with me, and she's gonna tell us her testimony, whatever God allows her to tell. Johnna, I'm trying to get you in. It's saying adding. You guys, I need you praying, sending her a lot of love, hugs, a lot of good light support. This is her first time telling her journey. She texted me last night. She said, "Auntie, I gotta be honest. My nerves is kicking in a little bit." So we want to show her much love and support. Tag your friends. Hey, darling,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am wonderful. Y'all see how beautiful she is?
Thank you.
Look at her. If you didn't know her journey, you wouldn't believe that she's been through anything that she's getting ready to tell us tonight. How are you?
If I'm
I
being
know it's been
completely
a rough.
honest,
I know
I'm
it's been a rough
really nervous.
week, and I know
Yeah,
that you're nervous. Yeah, but my peoples, these are my peoples. They are very, very passionate. They're very loving. They're very engaging, and they're holding you up. You got Crystal on here with you. You got KK on here with you, and I'm quite sure some more of them are going to come in. Um, and they're here to support you. They're here to send you much love.
I'm receiving it all.
That's right. That's right. How's your family?
Everyone is doing the best that they can be doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So y'all guys, before we get started, I want y'all to share this video. I want y'all to tag some friends. Johnna has a very, very powerful, and it's going to be a tearjerker. I know for me it is. I've been preparing myself literally since we talked to get you put on the calendar. And this past week to 2 weeks, I've been praying mightily for this one. Um, all of my testimonies usually, move me somewhat, but I need God to do a little extra something tonight for me because I had to get my mind right for this one. Um, so we're gonna hold you up. We're gonna keep you lifted. We're here for you, to support you. If you cry, you cry. We all cry together. That's what we do. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a big bag of water. So I think I cry almost every week when my guests are here. But that's a good thing, because I really feel when you guys, testimonies in your journey. So I'm not going to talk much. I'm going to let you talk, and I want you to tell your journey. I know that when we were talking on the phone, I knew a little bit. No, I didn't. All I knew years ago, when I would come home to visit, is that you were a product of drug abuse. That's the extent that I knew. Um, you shared a few things with me on the phone when we talked. Now, I want you to tell us in your words, whatever God allows you to tell, um, your testimony.
Oh boy.
It's okay.
um,
We got you.
so I first want to just thank you for even thinking of me to share my story and being led to feel that I have something to offer your people and any other person that's out there and is suffering or going through a really hard time, and they may need just a little bit of inspiration or a little bit of hope to make it through. Um, as she shared, this is my first time verbally sharing my story. Like, I've written a few pieces, so this is a big moment, and I appreciate it. And it's so interesting that we planned this maybe a month ago. I feel it's been a month, and then
It's
just
been a month.
last a week today, I lost my mom, my biological mom. And, you know, I was like, am I going to be able to follow through with this commitment? And I know that I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and to not question time. And so I kept my commitment because I feel there is a reason why we scheduled it for today.
Yes.
Yeah, let me get my water.
Yeah, I got my water, I got my tissue, my tea, and everything right here. You take your time, baby. We're here for you. I promise you we're here for you. So you take your time to get through this the best way you know how.
When people ask me about my story, I get lost in it because I'm like, where do I even begin? And I think for this purpose, beginning at the beginning is important.
Yes.
So I was born into the foster care system. I was born with substances in my system, crack. And for the first 3 months of my life, it was spent in the hospital. And then my mama, who raised me for a large portion of my life, she was living in New York at the time. And she took me in. I was her second foster child. And she got me when I was 3 months. So it was her and my older sister who's on here. I see her. I was with them off and on between 3 and 3 years old. But at the time, on my birth certificate, he's listed as my father, but he's not my father. But he still had parental rights over me. And so I would have visitations with him and my mom. And, my mama, she would tell me stories when I was older of me after I came back from visitation that I would just regress in my behaviors. So I would be potty trained, and then when I would go back to her, I wouldn't be. And she wasn't like really sure why that was, but you know, just being in the system in general can be very confusing for a child. And like she wasn't aware of any traumas that were happening. But my earliest memory of sexual trauma from my father was my brother's father, not my father. I had to have been like 3. I was 3. And I don't have to go into details. I should have said trigger warning in the beginning for everyone that's listening, but
You tell
I
whatever part of it you're
remember,
comfortable with. You don't have to, if you're not comfortable with going into the details of that, then you don't. I want you to be comfortable in what you're telling. Because it's going to bring up memories either way we go, but I want you to be okay with it. Okay?
okay, um, I'll backtrack a little. At the time, who was living with my father was my 2 older brothers. My bio mom wasn't necessarily in the picture because he never crossed the line when she was around. And you know, for some strange reason, I just thought that my brothers would be there, and because they were there, then, you know, nothing would ever happen. But they were in school during this time, and I remember being in his bedroom and like cartoons would be playing in the background, and he had this waterbed, and he would always ask if I wanted to play a game. And, you know, I'm 3, you know. So the game would consist of me touching his private parts, and that would happen until he would have a release, and then things would just like go back to normal, whatever normal is under those circumstances. And then eventually my mama had to move back to South Carolina because her mom was dying of breast cancer. And so she actually had custody of my 2 younger siblings from birth. And so I had to stay in New York. And at this time, I believe my bio mom was clean off of drugs, and she was still in and out of the picture, but I was living with John at the time. That's his name. And like the sexual abuse continued. I tried like ways of avoiding it once I got older, but it's like he always outsmarted me. And again, like it didn't happen when my bio mom was around or whenever he had like a girlfriend. So at some point between 5 and 9, I was living with my bio mom, just me, her, and my younger brother, I was 5, so he was about 2.5, 3. And my mom was still struggling with substances. And at 5, like, I remember being in kindergarten, and we had this cat, and his name was Sebastian, and like we had a home of our own, and it was nice, until my mom ended up she ended up leaving us at home to go on a drug binge. And when I say she left us alone, I mean she left us alone for a few days, just me and my brother. And I remember like waking up one morning and her not being there. But I was just like waiting it out because she was gonna come home. Like, that was my thinking, she'll be back. So I just went on with my day with my brother, and at one point he became hungry and was crying, and I was like looking through all the cabinets in the kitchen for food, but I couldn't read. So I'm like, what are we gonna eat? And I couldn't, like, I don't remember if I saw actual food, but I remember finding oodles and noodles, and I opened the packet. I didn't know how to make the noodles, so we just ate the seasoning out of the seasoning packet. And then I got my brother dressed, and we walked to the corner store, which was like 2 blocks away. This is in Queens, New York. And like it was like this purple long jacket. It was springtime, and it had deep pockets. And before I left home, I searched through the dirty clothes hampers for like loose change, but I didn't find anything. And I searched like my mom's room for any loose change, but didn't find anything. And so my plan was to go to the store and steal some snacks. And so I went to the corner store. I filled my pockets with like Debbie cakes and chips. And we luckily didn't get caught. And so that was breakfast, lunch, and dinner for that day. And one of our neighbors, because we live in an apartment building, and one of our neighbors must have suspected something, because at one point she like knocked on our door and offered us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then I ended up telling her that my mom wasn't home and she hadn't been home. And so we went to her house and we stayed there for a little bit. And eventually she found a number in our apartment, which was the number of my Nana, my mom's partner's mom, but I call her my Nana. She found her number and they came to get us. And after that, like, I remember getting into a taxi cab and being in the back seat with my brother, and a part of me not wanting to leave because I wanted to be there when my mom got home, and a part of me being grateful because like we were hungry and I was afraid and my brother was afraid and crying. And so I remember looking through the back window and feeling a sense of relief and just like watching my building as we drove out of the parking lot. And we stayed with my Nana for about a year, or maybe a little bit less, because like we couldn't find my mom. And so my Nana like created a sense of normalcy for us. We had a routine for like the first time that I could have remembered. We had like a safe place to sleep. We had like nurturing from her. And even with that, like there was one point when I wanted to run away as like a 5.5, 6-year-old. And so I was talking to my younger brother and I was like, we need to leave. We have to leave and go find my mom. I never made it. As far as I made it was onto the elevator, but I never made it downstairs. And one thing I remember from my Nana is the way that she made oatmeal. Oh my God. I still can't replicate how she made that oatmeal, but it was just so warm and just like, and made with so much love, you know? And then eventually my mom came back, and again, like we were moved from stability and moved back with her. And this time she was actually clean for a while. But at that point, like, I was so angry. I was so angry at her. And yet still like so free and wild, like a wild child. But I was like constantly getting in trouble when we went back with my mom. And I remember one time she learned of a girl at school that was like picking on me, and she literally brought me to this kid's apartment building and made me fight her. And I got beat up because I couldn't fight.
Oh, wow.
But for a mom to do that, I was pretty crushed. And when we were living there, again, it was just me and my younger brother and her. And we still had visitations with my father. And like the abuse continued. Until one day when all of us were together. So all 3 of my brothers, my mom, and him. And we were at McDonald's, which is around the corner from our house. And I had on long johns, and my long johns had a hole in the seat. And I had told my brothers, like I told them what was happening, my older brothers, thinking that, you know, it would stop, or like just like seeking some type of protection or anything. Like I even tried sleeping in their bed thinking that it would prevent him from doing anything at night, and it didn't. Like he would just get me out of their bed, bring me back into my room. And so that day at McDonald's, we were preparing to go to his house for the weekend, and my mom was like, why do you have a hole in your pajamas? And I thought I was in trouble because I always got in trouble for like getting my clothes dirty or not keeping things nice, playing too rough. And I was a little bit hesitant to even say anything because I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble. But eventually I just told her, I was like, Dad did it. And she was confused. And she was like, what do you mean? Dad did it. And I don't remember like what I said, but she knew. I didn't have to say much more. And then she asked my brothers, and she was like, did you guys know about this? And they were like, one of them was like, yeah. The oldest was like, yeah. And she was livid. And I thought I was in trouble again. And she didn't say anything while we were at McDonald's. And when we got back to our apartment, I was in the back seat, she was in the front. And she kind of like spazzed on him and was like, she's not going with you. So she took me inside. And the next thing I remember is the same night is him coming upstairs while I'm in my bedroom, like hiding, and him trying to like deny everything and just, I don't even remember what he was saying, but he was definitely denying everything. And my mom was just crying and yelling and angry, and she called the cops, but nothing happened. And then they eventually left, and I don't remember anything else from that night. But I do remember, like, shortly after, like, that summer, my mama, the one who raised me for the rest of my years, they had a family reunion that summer, and she remained in contact with my biological mom, so that's where that connection was. So she always like called and checked on me when I was with her, and like sent resources to help my mom raise me. And my biological mom decided to send me there. I thought it would just be for the family reunion because that's what I was told at the time. And so my mom packed me up and took me over to my aunt's house in Manhattan and said her goodbyes. And I was just like too excited because I was getting on an airplane and I was going on a trip, and so I didn't know that would be goodbye. And while I know that like that was her form of doing the best she could to love me because she couldn't like keep me safe, that was it. That was goodbye. And so I didn't see her anymore until I was like 22, 23. I think the thing that broke me the most was being separated from my baby brother, who like to face what we faced together and then to be separated from him. And then to hear him call me and be like, when are you coming home? And I'm like, 9, and I have no idea, that was hard. And so moving in with my other family, with my half brother and sister as well, that was another adjustment. Like, it's really hard to go from one way of living to a different way of living and adjusting to a new culture, and while still holding the trauma that I endured. And I was so good at hiding it. Like, I had the best mask. I even hid it I started seeing a therapist when I was 9, and she told my mom that I was fine. I'm like, how'd you even get certified to become a therapist if you think I'm fine? But I was really good at hiding it. And I'd say slowly I adjusted. I'd say by 7th grade. By 7th grade, I adjusted. When I was living with my bio mom, I missed so much school. I missed like most of kindergarten, most of first grade, most of second grade, most of third grade. And by the time I made it to fourth grade living in South Carolina, I was so far behind. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, there was talk about holding me back in the fourth grade, but I think my mom wanted to give me a chance. I think it went something like that. And then in fifth grade, like I was still behind. And so I had to be held back in the fifth grade in order to catch up. And I remember like really wanting one teacher specifically, and she was the only African American teacher at that, well, in the fifth grade. I don't know if it was at that school. And I wanted her so bad. Her name was Miss Burgess. And I got her for the second time. And I remember like really working so hard to make the honor roll, and I did. And she was so excited to show me my report card. But I would say that fifth grade was the second time around was a pivotal moment in my life where things were beginning to fall in place and I was beginning to like feel some sense of normalcy. And things began to, get better little by little. And that's not to say that I wasn't still holding on to the trauma, because I was. Like, sometimes I would be so angry in high school that I would like kick a hole into my bedroom wall. And I think my mom found out after I moved out of the house to go to college. Like, I was that good at hiding what I was holding on to, the pain. And I was never like very vocal. I think what I learned, what I internalized as a 9-year-old who disclosed sexual trauma and then being, in my eyes, shipped off, in some ways I internalized that as speaking up is not good. Being honest and being truthful is not good. Don't do it or you're going to get shipped off again. And the fear of losing another mom was frightening. I don't know where to go from here.
I'm just a little bit speechless right now. For those of you who just joining, this is Johnna. This is her very first time telling her journey live. I do know that not only did you graduate high school, you went on to graduate college.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you got your degree in, what is it, social work?
so undergrad was a BA in criminal justice, and then I went back to school for my graduate degree, which is in social work. I also am certified as a yoga teacher instructor. Like, I've also traveled the world by myself. So many things to be proud of considering my circumstances. And I think that's like the greatest message here, is that like your past doesn't define you. That your past does not limit you.
That's it.
At all. And for a while I did think that. And if it were not for the many teachers who entered my life and like guided me on my path, like I have Ma Dukes, your sister, to thank for that. I have so many people from my church to thank for that. I have people at my undergrad to thank for that. Like I've had so many, and I call them like spirit guides, come into my life and just show me the way when I just had no idea like what to do next. Like when I graduated high school, let me tell you, I did not even apply to colleges when I was in high school because the narrative in my mind was I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I can't amount to anything. I'm not going to get accepted into school. I thought as I'm preparing to walk across the stage in high school that they were going to tell me that they weren't going to call my name. I literally was like having a panic attack internally as I waited because I just knew they weren't going to call my name. So I didn't apply to schools. And the only reason why I ended up going to Morris College is because I didn't have $5,000 to go to cosmetology school. That's what I was going to do. I was going to go to cosmetology school, but they needed $5,000 up front. And I remember Miss McCann's took me to the beauty school in Sumter, and I was devastated. And so in August, before freshmen started moving onto campus, I spoke to Tiffany McCann's. And I was like, is there any way I can get enrolled into Morris? And she was like, are you serious? Is this what you want? And I was like, please. And she literally got me in 1 week. Like, the only explanation for me making it to where I am today is God.
Yeah. Yeah, you are a living testimony. Oh, I mean, in every sense of the word. And guys, not only is she um, a social worker and doing all the stuff that she's doing, she's living out in Los Angeles, and she designs jewelry. In fact, I am wearing my
Wow.
bracelet. I kid you not. I've been wearing this thing every single day since I got it. I think I received it last week, Friday or Saturday, when I text you. I literally have worn it every single day. The bracelet
Aw.
and I'm the ring. I have to stick my finger up. The ring, and she's shipping out my earrings that I ordered. She has
I
an
have
amazing
them
talent.
here.
Listen, I told you, you send them when you're ready. She has an amazing talent. Um, so you guys hit her up and get you some. And I remember seeing you so many times when I would come home to visit, because my mother knew your mama and your
Hmm.
grandmama well. And I remember you being at my sister's, but I remember you being with Crystal and tipped them a lot. And just seeing you
Yeah.
everywhere. And I'm like, who is this girl? Because you were just so quiet. You will always smile and you would speak, but you were just so quiet. And I used to just look at you like, wow, what is going on internally with her? And it, I never knew. I just never knew. And 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 your bio mother just passed away
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah.
Were you guys ever able to mend the relationship before she transitioned?
Unfortunately, no. Um, she wasn't well. She um she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So on top of like substance use, she was dealing with trauma. She was dealing with mental illness. And I did visit her when I first moved back to New York, and she was somewhat in reality and mostly out of reality, but she was clean. Like, she was sober from crack, but still like smoked marijuana, which I think is okay. Oh, sorry guys. I live in California where it's legal.
It's legal here too.
um,
Yeah, it's legal here.
um, and at that time, like, I wasn't ready to face my childhood. It was too much. It was too much. I could barely dip my toes into it because I had disconnected from it so well, and I wasn't ready to face it until it smacked me in my face, and I had no choice but to face it. But that came a few years later. But about 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I made a conscious decision to forgive her. I needed to forgive her, even if it wasn't for her, but it was for me. I knew that that was the next step that I needed to
Absolutely.
take in my healing journey. And what happened to me, in some ways it was about me, but not really. Like, my mom was carrying um, a lot of unhealed traumas that I am not aware of. But for anyone to live with that level of pain and try to parent, it's nearly impossible, it feels. She
Yeah.
was just so lost. And I wish that we could have mended our relationship, because I am a part of her. I came from her.
And you miss her.
And I've been just, yeah, I do. I did. Yeah. And, I've been playing with or ruminating on this idea of life and death. And it's just kind of fascinating to me that the person that birthed me into this world is dead and I'm still living.
I totally, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I was 52 years old when mommy left here. And here I am almost 5 years later. I'm still trying to grasp it all. I had a
Yeah.
friend tell me back in 2017, I was in Atlanta, and I'm not going to call her name. She and I were talking, and mommy had only been gone maybe about 6 or 7 months, and I was really in a bad place emotionally. And she and I was talking, and she said to me, she said, "Sis," she said, "I didn't have the kind of mother that you have." She said, "My mother wasn't the kind of woman that your mother was." She said, "My dad pretty much took care of us and raised us because my mom put men and other things before us." She said, "But I promise you," her mother had passed away a few years before my mom. And she said, "I promise you, when my mother passed away," she said, "there was a void in my heart that I can't explain." She said, "And I miss my mom." She said, "I don't care what kind of mother you have, when your mother leaves this place, it leaves a void and it leaves a brokenness." And that statement is so true, because we have to remember that that is the person that God chose to bring you into the world. And no matter what kind of turmoil and chaos that might have come in between, when mama leaves here, it does something to you eternally. I don't care what kind of mother she was. I'm one of the lucky ones. I had a wonderful, wonderful praying mom. You know that because you knew my mom. Um,
Hmm.
she was a mother in every sense of the word. I could, if God had allowed me to have chosen my own mother, I couldn't have chosen a better woman than Helen Goodman. You know, but I was blessed. Me and my siblings, we were blessed. We didn't, we were sheltered really. We had the best of the best mother, but it doesn't matter. But I saw your post last week when you penned a letter to your mother when your mother had transitioned, and I'm sitting at my desk and tears was just flowing because all I saw in that letter that you penned to your mother was, no matter what has happened in my life, the drugs, the sexual abuse at the hand of this man that quote unquote was supposed to be my dad. My mother just died and I'm feeling broken. I'm wishing that I had one more time to go back and hug my mother. That's what I read in that letter that you penned to your mother last week. And my heart just like literally broke for you because I was like, I know this pain. I Anybody who has lost their mother knows that pain. You know, so it's you might not have gotten a chance to mend things with her on while she was on this side of heaven, but I believe that she knows. I believe that she knows how much you cared and how much you loved her. And I'm waiting for the book because you got a book inside of you. You literally have a book inside of you.
I don't know what I'm
So
waiting
I'm just
on.
waiting for that.
That's been my
In your
plan
time.
since high school.
But you've now started the healing journey. So now that you've started the healing journey, then you can face it while you're writing it. You know what I mean? So it's going to come.
Yeah.
And there was somebody here asking, how can they get your jewelry? I think
Oh,
Crystal told them to inbox you.
yes. They can
Oh,
inbox me,
okay.
or if they have Instagram, they can follow my business page, which is, can I type on here? I'll try.
Oh, yeah. If you can't now, when you get off, you can put it in a comment. Put all the information on how they can reach out to you to get some jewelry.
Okay.
Okay, I see it. There you go. Um, wow, I am so proud of you. I
Thank
am
you.
I am like extremely proud of you for even keeping the commitment to come on tonight. Because when I saw the letter that you wrote to your mom and that she had passed away, and I said, okay, I'm going to have to call somebody else to fill her spot because I know she's going to want to switch out her dates. And I just wanted you to make the decision, because I know how it feels when you lose your mom. So I wanted you to make the
Mm-hmm.
decision if you were going to be able to still be able to do it today. And I was overjoyed when you texted me, um, and that we were still on. And for that alone, I'm just so proud of you that you're sitting here and your mom just transitioned home and you're telling your journey. That's a powerful statement.
Mm.
I need to think you know how powerful that is.
You know,
I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of who. Uh-huh.
I was just gonna say, like, it, I don't think to do, I just do. Not doing has never been an option. It has never gone across my mind. It's never been a thought.
Wow. That's powerful. Usually when I have guests come on, I've had a lot of guests to encourage me. I've had a lot of guests that come on here, and their testimony has encouraged me. But I promise you, your testimony has shook something up in me to where I just feel like, okay, Rebecca, you can push a little bit more with this warrior sheep thing. And there are days that this thing right here gets so heavy that I just want to throw in the towel, But just sitting here watching you and listening to your testimony, I can do this. I got this. I'm encouraged.
Good, because the platform that you are allowing others to step onto to activate in their power is powerful.
Wow.
People may not ever have an opportunity, and you're offering that to them.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Now you're trying to make me cry, but I'm not gonna cry. I didn't sit here all night, and I said I'm not crying. I said I'm fighting the tears all night long, and I said I'm not crying because they always tell me you cry all the time. You're a big baby, and so I'm not crying. But thank you, thank you. That is, um, I'm humbled, and that is absolutely the reason why I do what I do. You know, to give people a voice, because I'm a firm believer that when you talk it out, the healing manifestation begins. You got to get that thing out. You got to get it off your heart, get it off your chest. When you talk it out, you can begin the healing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's absolutely why I do what I do, even on days like today when just wasn't feeling 100. I do what I do because I realize and I know it is not about me. It's really not about me, because I believe that every Tuesday night, every testimony is healing and mending somebody's brokenness and is saving somebody's life. So this
Mm-hmm.
thing is not. It doesn't matter what Rebecca feels like. Rebecca just got to get up and get and do it. So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for coming, and we will be constantly praying for you. And you can text me, call me, inbox me anytime. I don't care what time of night, day. I am here. I'm available, and I love you. I knew you were a sweet kid, but oh my God, I just she gonna be mad because you might step in and kind of like be my favorite now out of all my nieces. So
She's
Shoo
gonna
Shoo is
comment
not
any
gonna be
minute.
happy. She is. She really is. No, but yeah, you're I love you. You such a. I knew you were a sweet child, but my God, I had no idea that you had endured that and was going through what you were going through. So I thank God for keeping you. I thank God. Yeah, let's not go that far. That's Shoo Shoo. But I thank God for bringing you into our family's life. I really do. I thank God for placing you in our lives. Um, so, and
Me
you getting
too.
ready to get some jewelry orders, girl. So yeah,
Oh, I'm ready.
I thank God for you.
Thank you so
Huh?
much. Thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome. You're welcome. And anytime you want to come back and talk to us. But I'll be checking on you. If not when I get off of here, I'll check on you the next day or two. But I'll probably text you when I get off live.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, baby. We appreciate you. We're praying for you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for
You're welcome.
listening and receiving me. I appreciate it.
Oh, they're sending you much positive energy. Okay, love. Love you, darling.
Love you too.
Oh, wow. Okay. Y'all, I didn't cry. Y'all sing, and I was fighting that thing, and I did good. I did. Wow. Oh, my gosh. That was powerful. Y'all keep her lifted in prayer, her and her family, her siblings. Send her much love, kindness, and look her up, hit her up. The bracelet, the ring. I got my earrings coming, and I'm getting ready to order a couple of more bracelets. I'm gonna be ordering from her. Period. I'm a customer now. Yeah, y'all hook her up, place some orders with her. Um, Let her take care of you. And I thank you all. I thank you all for joining us tonight. I thank you all for hanging out with us. Every Tuesday night we're here. Next week I got another powerful guest coming on. Um, Another powerful tail jerking testimony next week, next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I thank all of you newcomers joining us and hanging out with us. Share the video, tag some friends. Check us out on our YouTube channel, WarriorShe Room. All of our past episodes, testimonies are on there. Warrior She got some wonderful things coming down the pipe. June 12th, we got a gospel service right there in Greenberg, South Carolina. And then the very first Purple and Pink Masquerade Ball is the black tie event. It's going to take place October the 2nd, right there in Sumter, South Carolina. So we'll be getting some more information out as we get closer to the dates. So y'all just put those dates on your calendars. And I thank you. I thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. So tell somebody who can tell somebody who will tell somebody. Next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be back here. We'll talk to you soon. You all have a good night.